At this point, I'm pretty sure your crazy neighbor, your cat, or even your lawn mower knows about Plants vs Zombies, a game about defending your lawn from countless zombies with your ordinary plants. Simple concept yet addicting. Released way back in 2009 by popcap, the game would become a cultural phenomenon, spawning sequel and spin-off down the road. But among those games, there is one of them that was never mentioned widely by the fans, and for a good reason. Today we will talk about it. Plants vs Zombies Adventures was firstly announced on March 26, 2013 and was officially released on May 20, 2013 exclusively on Facebook, 3 months before the worldwide release of the sequel Plants vs Zombies 2. Fun fact, people thought Plants vs Zombies 2 was the second game in the series, but in actual reality, it was Plants vs Zombies Adventure. Anyway, on to the main topic. The first thing that you may notice are the characters. From the 2D style in the first game, transition into 3D for this game. The characters got redesigned, which makes them look more realistic. They look more alive compared to the counterpart in 2009, which didn't age well by today's standard. Graphics as a whole are an improvement over the first game. Each area have different style that makes them different from each other, especially the overworld and the levels. When you put both games side by side, the difference are night and day. But when you first start for the first time, you will notice that you will be doing more than just that. Firstly, you are presented with a map that serves as your overworld, where you can buy new items, expand new area, earn experience points or coins to level up and plant your plants, which is important. Don't worry, we'll get back to this later on. Secondly, road trip. Essentially, your campaign, where you traverse through 13 different locations to defeat zombies, just like what you always do in the original. Each location contains more level than the previous as you delve deeper into the zombie lair. What makes the level unique is that each level have different tiles that makes the player switch up their strategy, which can keep the player fresh. At specific level, Crazy Dave will give you a challenge to complete, such as filling the level with fog and finish the level with plants that Dave selected. At the end of each location, with the exception of 2 of them, Officer Ron, a new character, will ask you to either pay some gems or ask your friend to help in order to move on to the next level, which was very sketchy. More on that later. When you first start off, you are given 4 slots, which are representation of flower pots. There are 2 additional flower pots as you progress deeper into the game. There's also 1 extra pot reserved only for VIP player. Whenever your plants are eaten by zombies, instead of losing it, they will stop working for a few moments. As you can see here, the plants will look like they just died. You can try to revive them at the cost of 25 suns. Additionally, players can also click on plants to boost their attack, or even click on zombie to stun them for 3 seconds, which can be used infinitely, but as always, you will be spending 25 suns for each click. This time around, players can collect 100 suns due to the difficulty of the game, which ramps up pretty quickly. If you have trouble beating a level, there's also several rare power-ups, but of course you need gems to unlock. At random moment, the game will send zombies to attack your turf in the overworld. Failure to do so will cause damage to their building and need to be repaired, which brings me to the next mode. The third and final mode of the game is Brain Ball, the mode where you can either attack/defend your turf from zombies. If you choose to defend, you can place your brains in any of the buildings and defend with your plants. As for attack, you can train your zombie up to 10 waves while collecting fogs, which is the replacement of sun, to deploy your weapon of destruction. Whether or not you win or lose, it will affect your position in the leaderboard. The higher you place, the better reward you'll be getting. Rewards such as gems are always offered to those on the top of the leaderboard. And that covers all of the game for this game. Moving on to the characters, not only Crazy Dave appear as the human, but also a couple of them that are brand new to this game. Those characters gives the player multiple quests, and upon completing them, they will reward the player, such as Zombucks and experience points in order to level up to unlock stuff. Besides giving quests, there really isn't anything special about them. They don't do anything else, and certainly not as crazy as Crazy Dave. So let's move on. Next up, obviously, are the plants. You got your basic and familiar ones like pea shooter, sunflower, and walnut, etc. While also being introduced to brand new ones, asparagus, which basically works as cactus that shoots stalk from a far distance. Popcorn explodes when a zombie makes contact with it, just like potato might. Beat headbutts into zombie. Bamboo shoot throws projectile at multiple zombies. Chili pepper is like jalapeno but freezes the entire lane. Shamrock, which attacks zombie but then hides when they go near the plant. There's also another type of plants, VIP plants. And as the name says it, only players that pay can get those plants, which are upgraded version of the existing plant that can be way overpowered. Most importantly, these VIP plants got one benefit: you don't need any sun to use, which is basically cheating, but not cheating at all, if you know what I mean. Moving on to zombies, just like the plants, you got your typical ones, and also couple that are never seen anywhere else, like rocket zombie that can fly past the defense other than walnut, weightlifter zombie that carries a barbell that can crush the first plant they encounter but then becomes a normal zombie, and DJ zombie, which just walks around with his necklace and a fancy hat. I mean, wouldn't you want a fancy hat too? Despite looking identical for both plants and zombie to the original game, you know, I got heads off to them, no pun intended. They actually try to do something new, and that covers everything about the characters. Now that we are done with those stuff, let's talk about the cons and the main topic of this video that single-handedly ruined this game. If you guess currency, congrats, you are correct. The currency is the final nail in the coffin. There are three types of them: coins, zombucks, and gems. Zombucks are collected when you beat each level that can be used to buy / upgrade / repair building. You can also earn them from the aforementioned quests. So other than those usage, there really isn't anything else to do with this thing. Moving on to coins, which can be collected from buildings and they are used to plant the plants. Yes, you heard me right. In order to fight the zombies, you have to plant them first and wait for each plant to be harvested. Something that the original never tried to do. Different plants have different time, and it can be fucking tedious. That's where the problem comes in. Imagine you're just trying to beat one of the level in sweaty palms, but then you fail a couple times. You look at your inventory and decide, alright, let's use all of these plants because I knew they can do it. But you realize you have to wait so long for each plant to be harvested. If you're on a deeper level and have to rely on better plants, well, bad news buddy. Wait for hours and be sure not to fail again. Even worse, you can only plant specific amount of plants in order to bring those plants to the battle. It's not like in the original game where you can just plant as much as you want and just hope for the best. Well, here you are limited, and once you run out of them in the battle mode, well, it's back to the drawing board, plant those plants and hope you don't fail again. As if the game wasn't hard enough, you also have to worry about your money. Every time you want to plant a new plant, you will have to spend coins. From the cheapest one like the sunflower to the most expensive one like the bee shooter, you will have to spend a lot of them. Buying plants, planting plants, reducing waiting time for plants, the cost, the coins, so on and so forth. But it doesn't end there. In order to get those better plants, especially the VIP ones, you will have to spend actual money. When you first start off, you are given 100 gems, but let's be honest, it's never enough. With most of the used with plants are locked behind expensive gem prices, there's only one way. Players have no choice but to buy them if they want to progress further. Just because you bought those VIP plants doesn't mean you are immune to everything. The waiting time are still fucking long. At this point, you can clearly see the intention of popcap. I ended up quitting the game few months after the game was released. I'm sorry, but with business practices like this, with a company that is known to be greedy, I don't see myself spending all my time to play this game. Fans didn't take the news well, and many people complained about the monetization of the game, and it ends up biting back on popcap. On July 14, 2014, popcap announced the game will be shutting down on October 12, 2014. Just more than a year after the game was initially released, the game already met its demise. During its final days, players were awarded 100,000 gems before the game is gone for good. During that time, Plants Vs Zombies 2 was already released on mobile devices, so players already turned their attention towards that game. Plants Vs Zombies Adventure is an ambitious project that marks an evolution to the series due to its 3D graphics, and is clearly a step in the right direction to take the series forward. However, due to the greediness of the publisher and the fact that popcap was acquired by them means they can't do anything at all, which really sucks. And the fact that the game was only playable on Facebook, the game doesn't get as much exposure as they should. The game itself is a good example on how you should never market your game. Game shouldn't be a service, it's supposed to be an enjoyment, where players can have fun without thinking about spending money, something that the publisher wouldn't ever learn, because they're notorious for being greedy. Just sad, don't you think? And that's all of the episode for this chapter of Missing Archive. For the past few weeks, we went through a couple of games that was remembered by some of the fans back then, but due to financial issue, different hardware, and the fact that the game was not popular as it used to be, the game faded into obscurity. While they closed down the game, they didn't remember to archive, which means those games will be lost forever in the sense of time, and you can never play those games officially. I hope my videos can make people realize how preservation is really important, because one day they might be lost forever. Until next chapter, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment below what's your opinion.